Hello, everyone. Let me make sure everything's all up, running, and loaded. That's the important part. Everything is up, running, and loaded. We say, or we don't say, nobody knows. How's it goes? How's it goes? Yes, indeed. Of course, it always takes a minute for everything to do everything. It always takes a minute. Oh, and the audio inception. We love a good audio inception. I broke my screen on my laptop. Okay, great. Oh, I can't make it reload there either. I will. Okay, Sarah. So, I guess we're going to use this opportunity to make a video. And turn down my this so there isn't a little delay. Yay! Indeed. Because of course I'll have to fix all my everything. And I guess I should probably do full screen cam. I say that, and we're it was probably just because of the thing. That's fair. Of course, I have to fix my camera every single time I reboot my computer. I have to come in and reconfigure my computer settings because it puts on this automatic white balance. It screws up my everything. So there be that. There be that. And I need to turn on the camera. We'll transition in. Hopefully this works out. Yay! Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta. Because my green screen is ridiculous. Like, I just need to be over just a little bit more. Just a little. I don't know if I can. Just a little. Can you tell I've really got a mess going on out here? If you saw what it looked like, you'd be like, what? This is your recording studio? Yep. Used to be my dad's workshop. So now it's a recording studio. And maybe if I shorten the camera just a wee bit more. That'll get rid of it. That'll get rid of it. And it appears that this video thing is elongated in an immense... I'm not sure why it doesn't save my settings. I have yet to figure that out. Really. Okay, let's try that. There, that looks a little more normal. We're gonna watch some random people cast ballots and stuff because I talk about single transferable voting a great deal. So the whole story behind me as a person, I guess, is I have been working in the public sector for most of my adult life. I'm that kind of guy who works 2 jobs, and I just really got tired of being treated the way Karens treat us in the world today. No offense to anybody who's actually named Karen, but it's a Karen culture, and I hate that name has been ruined. I do know some people who are named Karen, and they're quite lovely people. So that's why I don't want to be like, oh, don't Karen culture. But I mean that like your metaphorical Karen. Like everybody has one of those in your life. That's just I need to speak to the manager. Things are just not appropriate. You know, one of those type peoples. And we've had them for years. Somebody put a meme to it. Now memes have become a thing, so everybody loves everything. But so anyway, I basically have decided that I need to change the world. And I think it has to do with democracy in our current day and state of age. So we are a people that is very clearly divided from one side or the other on a lot of things. And I think having a moderate person in the White House would be way better than having a representative from any of the current parties. I think Ben Franklin said it best when they said that we would be like the two-party system would be the downfall of our civilization. Like it already happened in Britain with the Tories and the Whigs when the Constitution was being written. So that's why they put the places in effect, and here we are now with 2 parties dominating our political sphere and basically telling us that we can't change it. Can't change it at all. So they're like, hey, I need you to just sit there and accept all this governance from old white men, basically. Like they're not even involved in anything we do in our everyday lives. I don't really watch television. I was watching the news with my mother today because I live on the East Coast and we are preparing for a very large storm. So I was watching the news, and literally we watched an hour of news, and they would show 20 to 40 minutes of commercials. Like they show 20-minute blocks of commercials every act. Like they do a 5-minute news story, and then show a 20-minute block of commercials, and then a 5-minute news story and a 20-minute block of commercials. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then one of the stupid stories is like about a train. It's not even relevant, and it's 5 minutes of commercials. I'm like, I don't always want bad news. You're right, but it's because you have too much commercials that make this pointless. I don't want to have to, like, it's not worth my time to watch all these stupid commercials for your fluff pieces, I guess. Is what I'm saying. So I don't know how to fix that either. I think commercials are the devil, but that's just the way life is these days. But we were talking about the news and this whole price increase situation, because they're literally they're on the news being like, yep, prices are going up. Supply chains are going to have some outages. It's a rough world out there these days. And I really want to, that's propaganda. We are a capitalist society. If they can't find it to you in what it's worth, like, don't spend it. Prices will stop going up if you stop purchasing things. We do not need most of the things that we purchase as everyday Americans. You need food, clothing, and shelter, and I guarantee you have all of those things. As far as the food goes, sometimes you're just going to have to eat seasonally, eat locally, eat what's available in your area instead of expecting fresh fruits and produce to be delivered to your door every day from across the country. It's unrealistic that we take the effort to get us oranges in the winter, or, you know, like, if they're out of season, they're out of season. Like, it's a thing. And then to think about how much money we have to spend to transport fresh fruits and vegetables across the country. Like, that's refrigerated trucks. That's things that have to happen overnight. It's a real logistical nightmare. I mean, I hope they get there with the robots. Elon Musk said the other day that he expects there to be a universal basic income in his lifetime, because the world is changing, and it's changing more towards the robotics and the intellectuals and people sit behind computers 90% of your day to get things done is what that is. So, single transferable voting is what I propose to change this problem. Because I don't really want to be like a harbinger of doom here or anything, but it's a real life situation. we need to do something about it. And my proposed solution is that when you go to the polls in November, just write in everyone. If you're displeased with the candidate options, I need you to write in change the vote. Not anything else, like the words change the vote. Otherwise, it won't count. I've worked at the election precincts, and we'll probably work at the election precinct again. And the only way your write-in vote will be counted is if it's the same thing. So we all have to get together and write the same thing on a write-in vote. And nobody has, like, so I thought about running for office myself. I thought about starting a political party because I know, like, the Socialist Democrats are, like, the movement that everybody says I should join. And I'm not sure I want to get behind another political party. I don't think political parties are the answer to this conundrum. Like, I realize that you need to get people to vote for you. I don't think I need your money. I need your vote. So I took to Twitch because Twitch is free. I mean, you can tune in, you can watch, see whatever it is. So every Wednesday at 9 o'clock we get together, and hopefully we'll start building a community where people will pop in and say hello and tell us, like, we can all have to get together. We just have to change the vote in November. That's all we have to do. Not that hard. Go to the polls, write in, change the votes. You actually have to even go to the polls. I'm sure you can do that on a write-in ballot as well, because we count your ballots when you mail them in at the precinct. So all those mail-in votes that are mail-in can still happen. But I think all the problems with our government, we could talk about socialized medicine, we could talk about the economy, we could talk about all these military situations in the world. All of it would be solved by putting the right people in office. And I think that has to change by single transferable voting system. The single transferable voting system, if you don't know what that is I'm sorry, I just got a tweet that says Biden. I just saw Biden's approval ratings drop from tweet. Twitter gets me sometimes with the randomness of Twitter. But anywho, the way single transferable voting works is, like, say there's 6 people up for votes. You vote for your top 3. If your top 3, they set a threshold of, like, how many votes you have to get based on how many people are running and how many votes there are in the particular district or region or whatever the particular vote is for. So, like, say there's 50,000 votes in a territory and you have 5 people running. The threshold to beat would probably be like 15,000, because you couldn't possibly have everybody get 15,000, but lots of people could get 15,000 out of the 50,000. So, like, the first round pick, you eliminate 1 person by that threshold. Then mathematically you reduce it again, so in the second one you're going to reduce 1 person each round, and their votes, like, if you voted number 1 for John Doe and John Doe drops out, but you voted number 2 for Jane Doe and Jane Doe is still in the running, your number 2 vote will count towards Jane Doe's total in the next elimination. So she might, like, say that when in the first round, if number 4 of 5 is barely over the threshold, like she has 15,001 or something like that, but all the people that voted for that voted for John Doe put Jane Doe as their number 2, all those votes would be transferred into her automatically in the next round. So she might have more votes than the number 3 person who had, like, 15,5. Now she's going to get something like 16,7 or something from the people that voted for John Doe. Get what I'm saying? That way you don't have to go to the votes and decide, oh, this is the lesser of 2 evils. You can actually put the person in there that you think might run the country, but then put your person in there secondly, that you're like, oh God, I can't let the other person win when they inevitably give us Kamala Harris and Trump in 2024. When they inevitably do it because the political party system is rigged. Like, that's how we're going to know that the political system is rigged, is because Trump is going to run in 2024. And you know why? Because no matter what happens, if Trump gets the Republican Party nomination, he's going to either cry foul or win. So, I mean, like, isn't that already a unfair solution with the fact that he is going to say something regardless? That's the whole point. Is it, like, the fact that he already had the election situation and the validity of our election system in the last election means that we need to change it. 1,000%. We have to change it. Or we're all doomed. Like, democracy is up for election this presidential term. I guess in the next one, because we only have 2 years, so it's 2024 is going to be our next big election. And we only have 2 years, but in a viral situation, in a viral world, anybody could share this video, like it, follow it, get a follower, and start being here on Wednesdays. Like, we can't rally in, like, person anymore, because COVID. I don't know, if you don't believe in COVID, you still don't need to rally in person anymore, because we do believe in the common cold, we do believe in the flu, we do believe in fucking pink eye, for God's sake. There's a lot of really transmissible diseases based on human contact, and I think coronavirus has just shown us the fragility of the human system. So it's not about, like, we're never going to get back to that normal that we had before COVID. There is going to be a new normal, I'm sure, but who knows what the hell it is, and it probably won't happen until after 2024. But I mean, we saw the protests, we saw the riots, we saw the violence on both sides of the fence in the last tumultuous election. And I think it broke the system. Like, we lost faith in the system from everybody. Even like the people working there could see how it was done. It was an ability to change the election situation. I mean, I think you have to sign a bunch of rules, regulations. You have to, like, and they usually are pretty good about putting precinct representation from both sides. Like, there were definitely people that I worked with in the election sites that were hardcore Republicans, and there were some that were some hardcore Democrats, and I'm all over here like, I just want the right person to win. Their political party is ridiculous. Hey, Silver Mag, how's life? How's things? If you would like to join the Discord, feel free. I think I'm hanging out in there too. Even though I love it when you chit-chat in chat, because stats. You've been in here for the single transferable voting situation. You know what we're going to put on our write-in ballots in November, don't you, Silver Mag? I'm not sure you actually even support me the cause. I think Silver Mag is one of the people that has differing political opinions than me. And I think that's 100% fine. I think my fire is also burning me out here today. Whew! Whew! I just chunked it before I start, and now I'm like on fire. Fire of Life 2018! I'm on fire! Ah! Change the vote. Lurking while watching Community. I love Community. NPH is my idol. I gotta say, How I Met Your Mother is probably one of my favorite ever changes. So thank you so much for knowing Change the Vote. You're so awesome. I haven't actually even asked your opinion about how you feel about it. I guess I'm pretty pushy, but like, this is what we need to do. But I just can't think of a better way to change the world or to fix this particular problem. And that's just the first step. Like, every journey. Oh yeah. I think I watched How I Met Your Mother. They have 9 seasons on Prime too. If you like Community, you will probably also like How I Met Your Mother. Because Community is not one, like, comparatively of the two, I'll take How I Met Your Mother. Community's good show, but little on the dumb side for me. Like, it has that humor that's a little too slapsticky for me. But I like the show. I watched it. It was a thing. Yeah. So how's your new life? How's things with you? I guess we can transition backgrounds, get something new. Boop. Theoretically, it's gonna do this. Background change. Could also make myself large, or you say, what? Hi. Maybe this helps. So, we are talking about how to change the world. I think I started this journey being like, one day maybe I'll run for office, but I really feel let down. Life has been kind of wild, working on finding a new rhythm. You know, they say that shaking your whole life up is really good for you, and I've done it multiple times. Sell all your shit, move across the country. It changes your life. Changes your life, my friends. 100%. I recommend world travel to literally everyone. I think it's too big. This is better. To literally everyone. If you don't get out of your box, you'll never know what's on the other side. Boxes are not see-through. You cannot enjoy the world from the comfort of your box. Metaphorical box, speaking. I guess if you're a woman, you can enjoy the world from your box if you'd like. I'm non-judgmental. Oh, so in case you don't know, I intend to grow marijuana for a living. So I had this is like my second harvest of marijuana, and this particular flower didn't do so well. So that's a thing. You're in your new home for a week. So like you've been there for a week. Meeting new people, maybe making some friends, though I was grateful to spend time with people in Moons the last couple days. Good to have friendly voices. I mean, I moved back home and have no friends. Well, I guess I have like 2 friends here locally, and I think that's okay in this digital world. Maybe me because I'm too antisocial, but really I kind of like my alone time. And then I feel like these chit chats make me feel interactive. I enjoy spending the time with my community. And I mean, like, if I could just hang out and be your psychological rock, I'm okay with that. You can feel free to vent your frustrations and spleens. I thought maybe at one point I would kind of like do a Dear Abby situation. I have done a lot of things and seen a lot of stuff in the world, and I've been told that I give great advice. Which is why I always recommend the single transferable voting. I think it's an amazing system. I think the rest of the world has already moved in that direction, and it'll solve all of our problems. We might actually need to get that done before the next election, because I fear civil war if Trump runs election again. And not because I want to have any political opinions about Trump, because he's a person. I don't really know him like an individual. He might be trying to do good in the universe, and I can definitely believe that the media is trying to feed us a line of hoo-ha, but I don't know if that's ever going to change. I think the problem with the Trump election is the whole two-party system in the first place, and I think that Trump has so polarized the country that violence will ensue. Maybe not even if he incites it, just like it's a thing that I think violence will ensue on both sides. Because I claim neither. I am Switzerland. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. And I think you should not be either. Like, I definitely voted Libertarian just because I would like to see another party get on the debate stage in November. Actually, it'll probably be like October. But, debates are huge, and you have to get 15% of the current popular vote to be able to get on the stage. That's why I was so pushing vote libertarian last time, when everybody was all like, what are you going to do? But we have to eventually change. We can't just let them feed us the lesser of two evils for years and years and years and just be like, well, I've got to vote for this guy or the other to win. That's why. I mean, and the political party system corrupts good people. I want to bring up Pete Buttigieg. When Pete was really running in his first situation, I was an issue. I thought that whole thing was an issue. I'm sorry, I got distracted. When Pete Buttigieg was running with that whole field of Democrats fairly originally, I was so behind him. I think the world could definitely do with a gay president. We need one. Thanks. But yeah. He got the Democratic support, and some corporations and lobbyists got his hooks into him, and his whole perspective changed, and I lost all respect for him. And I think that's the two-party system, is once you start getting the money from that, you owe people favors. They gave you money, you owe them that, and they have that that hook in you. Hashtag Twitch. We saw what we did with the GameStop situation. We, the gaming online community, good God, there's 20 million people that play Final Fantasy. If I got half of them to vote for change in November, that would get it on the ballot. Just saying. We just have to get people that care enough to vote for change, to change the world. Simple. Silvermax says, on his initial inauguration, there was a violent protest in D.C. If he were elected again, it would be way worse. Right, because there was already an insurrection the last time. That broke democracy, because like the whole American thing is about the peaceful transition of power, and this last transition was not peaceful. It was not. And like, say what you like about it, when he says there could be election fraud, there could be. I mean, like, we haven't disproven that there wasn't election fraud. Even so, somebody that worked at the election polls, it's disrespectful to me to say it was election fraud, but it could have been on a higher upper level, whatever. I think it broke it when it called into question democracy. Like, it called into the fact how we elect our leaders. It called into effect how we transition our power, which is the whole democracy situation. We're supposed to be able to be like, well, tough buddy, shake hands. And I personally think it's the loss of sportsmanship. As I play a lot of games online, and people, like, they give up too easy, they are mad at their teammates, they're flaming at other people. Sportsmanship is a dead art. When I was a kid, if you lost a game, you still shook hands with the team, and you looked them in the eye and said, great game, I had fun playing even though I lost. It's because it's about playing the game. And you want to make it as good a game as possible, even if you're going to lose, because the other team's having fun winning. Don't you remember when you were winning? Would you like the other team just to give up and give in because you were having a good time? It's not fair. Like, play the game out. Finish it, be congratulated, and enjoy that you had a good game. Don't, it's this thing. Because we still have democratic elections. Yeah, we still have democratic elections that people protest and, like, fumigate and lawsuit, and the validity of people are using the system to get elected. Like, how many elections have we had now that the popular vote and who actually got elected were not the same thing? Tell me again it's not broken. Or tell me again that we're actually having democratic elections if the popular vote elected someone and the other person was put in office. How is that democratic? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I'm like, I would love to defend our system. And I think that the people that are working at the polls are trying to do their best to make the system that we have as foolproof as possible, but nothing's ever going to be 100%. And these close margins are just dividing the situation because of the party system. If we had single transferable voting, the party system would not hold. And we could actually have democratic elections, if you asked me. But I don't know. I don't know. It's your choice. I've seen several people pop in and out, and I really hope that somebody will vote for change in November. But if you want to see more, come back here every Wednesday. And the only way to be reminded of that is to hit the Go Live notifications and make sure that you know that we're live. You can also check these out over on the YouTube channel, because I do this every Wednesday. I hang out with my viewership and talk about stuff. We don't have to spend the whole hour talking about single transferable voting, but if you hang out with me in person, that's also what I talk about. This is me in real life. I think the world is really on a path that I don't like. I'm just not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. Because they just keep telling us that shit tastes like gold, and we're supposed to believe it. That's really where we're at with our current situation. And I mean, you'd love to be able to, like, let's vote somebody out, but half these people are not even running. I mean, like, we can't give enough people to go to work in the front lines, and we have too much government as it is. Like, I'm just now watching the government here in Virginia, and we have the same structure of government in Virginia that is the federal government. So we have a Senate and a House, plus a mayor. And all those things have the checks and balances in place. But think about all those people. I mean, there's so many people that we have to pay, and then you have to pay their aides and have their office staff and their rentals and their electricity and their power and their buildings. Like, our government, like the physical amount of government we have is too much. When we should really be working on, like, a federal level instead of the state situation. And everybody tells me this when I'm like, oh, the state government situation is really not cool because it's local. It helps you more at that. We make too many laws. If you can't pass a law that works for everybody in the whole country, don't. Stay out the hell out of their business. Like, if Texas wants to have the death penalty and we don't, I don't think you should get arrested in Texas, but that's something they control. There should not be a law about that at all. And you're like, but who's gonna make that law? Nobody. Like, can you not, like, is it done by case basis? Why does it have to be a law? Like, the abortion situation, I don't know if you can tell anybody what to do with their bodies, but then you have this whole same thing with the vaccinations. You can't tell somebody to get vaccinated because you can't tell somebody what to do with their body. Like, we have too many laws. Too many. There's probably less I don't know if you could allow someone to murder somebody. I don't know if that's a thing. But, you know, if we're gonna go down that road, we gotta have full capitalism or full socialism. And I just don't know that capitalism, democracy work. I'm not sure if that's the way the government can it needs to be like a democratic republic, maybe. Don't know if we could just call it that, but whatevs. One problem at a time. One problem at a time. Which I say is pick how your people are elected, because that's the first step. We have to get the people that represent our needs and interests in office. And then they will solve the problems because they have our needs and interests at hand. So we can complain and control and come up with all kinds of ways and means. I don't claim to be the intellectual elite, but I kind of think the intellectual elite should be the ones running the country. But I also think our intellectual elite should come from the poor. I don't believe it should be a caste system. Like, everybody should have a background and be intellectually elite. Like, it's possible to come from poverty and be intellectual elite. And that's okay, because you probably have great ideas on how to not have poverty anymore because you came from it. So, that's the whole thing. Also, term limits. We hugely need term limits because people in office are ridiculous right now. Ridiculous. If you can't get something done in 6 years, you don't need to be there in the first place. Much less 12. I mean, 12 years is like a lifetime. I can't imagine doing anything for 12 years. How do you get bored? Stale. Gotta rejuvenate. So once again, thanks for stopping in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, and we talk about this every Wednesday, where we're trying to change the world. I started this whole debacle because I wanted to do good. I used to work for nonprofit. I have always had people's best interest in mind. I want the world to be a better place. I care about the climate. I'm a minimalist. I just want change. Just want change. That's really all it is. Uh-oh! Bat Coaster in the house. How's Mr. Coaster tonight? Pop quiz, Bat Coaster. What are we doing in November? Pop quiz, Bats. In the house? Are you in the house? Oh my God, Silverback, where are you? Come out! Don't be like that. Vacation, gotta get away from. What are you on vacation from? Are you on vacation from life? I didn't know you were on like an actual vacation. I guess my emote wall didn't get it on the top, so all his emotes didn't happen. Sad days. You have to do your emote string again, Bats, now that I've put the emote thing on top. Actually, I have to transition it to make that happen. Boop. Once again, we are listening to Lo-Fi, and I'm in the Discord if you wanted to join to say hello. I'm in Discord. You are more than welcome to join if you are already a member of the Discord. If not, you can join. It is an open situation. I assume you put that there like you say you're gonna go vote, but you have to write specific things in the vote. It's change the vote. I don't mean to be repetitive, but that's the only way people know things these days. So we have to repeat them a lot. A lot. I tried to get Brandon to come in the Discord, and he is being flaky. I don't know why this was a thing. I haven't seen Truth in ages. Has anybody else seen Truth? I never see him online anymore. And I definitely feel like I put an invite to this, but it's here every Wednesday. This is my only consistent time slot. I guess that's not true. I've done really well with Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this point, being able to stream. The Humankind situation is interesting. They just released a new DLC, the African Cultures mod, and I don't know how I feel about that because you can go get free mods from mod.io, and I don't know, I'm gonna pay $9 for their version when some of the other ones are the same. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I'm probably gonna buy it anyway because it's probably gonna have cool art and cool pictures and stuff. I will say that Amplitude Studios does a pretty good game. They have a Endless Space that I enjoy. That's actually Endless Space 2. I never played the first one, but Endless Space 2 is pretty great. I have Endless Legends as well, but I haven't really got into that so much. I just downloaded Hearts of Iron 4 this week. I might play some of that. It's a World War II reenactment game. That might be fun. Oh, hey, Backcuster. I think I heard you, but barely. Did you say something?
I giggled.
Oh, that was the first thing. Is that? I thought you said hello.
I did. Well, when I first came in.
But the real question is, can Batcoaster be heard in stream?
Silver Mag, can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me?
You wanna build a snowman?
Do you want to change the country? Not like I have a theme or anything. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. I need some support. I need some follows to help my life, to help my numbers, to help my algorithm, to help me change the world. Save the streamer, save the world.
Nice.
Cause I mean,
you got your Final Fantasy background.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I took a little break from playing the game because of my work schedule and things I was trying to do this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I did watch a couple of people on the YouTubes, their reactions to the main story quest. Tried all over again.
And say what? You started all over again?
Tried all over again. Yeah.
Have you not finished it?
Oh, I finished it.
Oh, so what did you try?
Oh,
you cried.
Even knowing what happened, I still end up crying.
Oh. I'm really starting to think that I'm emotionally dead because I did not feel anything at all. Really? I thought it was so played out because I knew they were going to bring them back. Like as you're walking up and they're all disappearing and shit, you're like, oh, this is dumb. I know you're gonna come back. I have this thing in my hand that's gonna bring you back at the end. Like,
it's interesting though what people got emotional about versus what some of the things okay, obviously that would make some people feel. But I was like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit for that. But I know for me the story with Euless, that got me early on. I was like, oh,
with
that's
Euless?
Yeah, the little blue-haired Gollum guy.
The blue-haired what?
Gollum. We go to Gollum to help the people
Oh, the dude in the subway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when he breaks down, coming back to Camp Everyone, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Oh, but that's cool. That's like a reflection of self, though.
Like here's this new character in the game I know nothing really about. You just added it, and I'm just like, oh, I'm all emotional about it. But I saw a guy the other day. He had been playing since I guess Final Fantasy IV. He was really big into that. So when he went to the moon, apparently a lot of the design of the moon and the music, even the Lamatells, they're all from Final Fantasy IV.
Aww. I think we knew that though.
Oh my gosh.
That was released before, because whenever they did the whole "we're going to the moon" thing, I don't know who you follow, but I know Zepla did a thing where she was like, "Look at the bunnies from Final Fantasy IV!" Like she was flipping out.
I did watch some of hers because I think I caught her on a group reaction. I was like, oh, I think she's sweet.
I know I love her, but I don't know if I think she's sweet or I think she's entertaining, because I really feel like some of it's fake. But I still am like, I get it, YouTuber. I get it.
Yeah. I watched some of her, she was the one I first came across, things that are that everyone does that no one tells you about, waiting for other people to watch cutscenes, little proper etiquette and stuff like that.
Oh, right, true.
I think that's how I described it. I was like, there needs to be more videos like that. I was like, that was a good video.
I don't know if there's enough more etiquette to say about that. Like, I could make an etiquette video, but I feel like a lot of it's the same. You need to be nice.
I mean, it's not the same, but I mean, like, the fact that it was even out there was nice. Because, it's one of those things that was one of my complaints. I was like, how would you know to do that? I was like, I didn't know to do that. I was like,
And then it's so difficult to have somebody tell you. Like, nobody ever wants to be told, like, in a dungeon raid or something, like, dude, you didn't wait for the dude to finish the cutscene. It's hard to get that point across
sometimes, too, because not everybody has, like, a full keyboard or a full you can't type. They type something and they abbreviate something. I was like, I don't know what that means. You said something, though. Like, appreciate the advice, but I have no idea what you're trying to tell me.
You desperately need a keyboard to play this game. I definitely could see how you would play it on a controller, but you at least need one to type.
I've been back and forth about it because, like, when you go into the keyboard mode, you still have to, like, kind of push the button to type out what you need, and it's not much faster having the keyboard because I'm still, well, I don't know, it might be a little faster, but I was like, you're still hitting one button at a time and all that.
I do not hit one button at a time, friend Keith. If you still hunt and peck on a keyboard, you need to practice. I hate to tell you, but keyboards are here to stay, my friend.
Yeah, but there's still some of us who never like to use the keyboard at all.
I mean, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Eventually.
Oh, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't like it. I just never use it. But I got my little shortcut. I finally learned to use the macros a little bit. Well, I use that for messages, not the little.
There's a million videos about those, like, things you didn't know in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And, like, it's always the settings. Like, how long have you sat there and tried to play with your menus in Final Fantasy? There's so many menus.
Right.
You could spend hours just going through all the menus. And, like, the whole tab targeting thing where you can switch to target the closest one versus next in the enmity list. Yeah. Life-changing, especially for PvP. Life-changing. I turn that on in PvP mode and then just spam it and do AoE abilities with my Dark Knight. I mean, with my Black Mage, and I do tons of dips, tons of deeps. Just keep casting Thunder 4. Boom, 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 boom.
I haven't played Black Mage in so long.
Oh, goodness. Are you okay?
Yeah.
That sounded really squeaky.
Yeah, my voice still goes in and out every night. It's really random.
Oh my gosh! And did you officially have COVID or not? You didn't get tested.
I haven't been able to find out yet. I'm still waiting for. I have a home test coming in the mail.
Well, what's that gonna do by the time you get it? You're not gonna have it no more.
Well, yeah.
So you're just gonna save it for next time.
Hoping, yeah. The college is coming back. I'm hoping they're opening up more availability for testing.
I mean, this whole coronavirus business right now is out of control. I don't know if you've been following the numbers, but the spikes are real. Like, the hospital here just closed its visiting hours, and they officially announced that they have had more patients with COVID right now than they ever have before.
People got really whacked.
They all went home for Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff, and just spread COVID everywhere. Every variant, every direction, everywhere. Because, like, they know that there's 2 variants. I bet there's more than 2. Just to say. I mean, I guess they said we're at Omicron, and that already, like, 5th one in. So, I mean, I don't know what to do. This is the time where we should sit around and discuss what to do. I think if I was going to give advice to the world on what to do right now, it would be to prepare for the apocalypse. You need to go get some solar panels. You need to go get some books and movies. Maybe some DVDs, because when the internet goes out, you're going to be really fucking bored.
That doesn't work for you. You're a minimalist.
I have everything on my phone. I have 250 audiobooks on my phone downloaded.
Oh.
So I know I'd have at least some entertainment, and I do have solar panels already. So my mother's like, "Well, that's not enough to run your whole greenhouse," and I'm like, "So I have enough battery pack to run my greenhouse for about a day without power. And that's maybe if it's like no power at all. I would theoretically be able to go longer if I'm actually getting juice from the solar panels or whatever, but I don't have enough solar capacity to run all of my greenhouse currently." So I tell the joke all the time that I do have enough to charge my cell phone, and that makes me okay.
That's a start.
That's
You want to stock up on those, right?
I mean, as long as I feel like my Samsung S10 is gonna last forever, especially the way I treat it. It's mine. I'm gonna keep it for sure. But
I'm just thinking about upgrading mine because my phone is pretty beat up now.
well, I would do it before the apocalypse because that's the only thing you're gonna be stuck with.
Right.
You can buy a little solar charger from Amazon for your phone for like $12 now. Like,
yeah.
so I mean, like, being dependent on your phone is okay as long as you have a way to continuously keep it charging.
I use my phone for a lot, but if it dies, I'm good still too.
I like when I went to visit Brandon and was hanging out on the way back, I didn't have a charger in the car and my battery died. I was like, for the first time, I didn't have a phone in probably years. I was without a phone. And I was like, should I pull over? I know the directions. Like, I was just going down 29. Like, I knew how to get home from there. So I was like, I don't really need a phone right now. So I just drove home, and it was weird to sit there quietly for like 2 hours being like, damn, I don't have a phone.
You didn't have a radio signal?
No, I could have, but I don't like the radio. Commercials drive me insane. I know too much about commercials, and like, even when you're not looking at it or hear, like, you don't have to hear it, you don't have to look at it for them to give you a subliminal message. One or the other will do. So I don't care for commercials. I just heard the whole story about Paramount Plus. I love how YouTube plays a commercial as it happens. But at least they let me skip it. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, have you? What was I just saying? Shit. The story. Commercials. What were we talking about before that? Oh, Paramount Plus, the commercials. I pay for Paramount Plus. Like, I pay $10 a month to have Paramount Plus, the premium one, and it's supposed to not have any commercials. But you have to go into a menu in your settings, in a setting, and then opt out of it twice to not get commercials.
They really make you work for the non-commercial,
huh? Because it says no commercials, but they just have an opt-in option, and they just default turn it on. So some people, like, I bet there's tons of people out there that are paying that $10 a month for no commercials, and then still just watching the commercials as well. Paramount Plus is crooked, corrupt.
Every time you log in?
Huh?
Every time you log into the app to watch something?
No, just once.
On?
Just once.
Okay.
But it's not known. Like, I've had Paramount Plus for several months now and did not know that. I was just getting madder and madder. The only reason I found out was because I went to cancel it today, and I told them why, and they're like, oh, well, you could just turn it off. And I'm like, you bitches. Just double dipping. They're like, oh, well, you could just turn it off. And I'm like, you're right, I could have if I had known that was an option. But it never said that, and I never bothered to go through all the 2 menus and then the double opt out to get it. I was really upset. Really upset. And then it gets me into the whole, I wish there was a law against that kind of thing. But then you're like, we make too many laws, so. But I don't know. That could be a pretty universal thing. I feel like if you're going to sell a service as no commercials, that's false advertising. Maybe I should just sue them. Get my $30 back.
No, because they never said. See, they're saying we have the service no commercials, and you signed up for it. You didn't.
Well, I signed up for a service with no commercials, and then they opted me in automatically for commercials.
Yeah, you have to go in and turn it off yourself.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was an opt-in automatically option. They never told me that was somewhere in there. They never said, oh, hey, we're going to go ahead and opt you in for this. I've looked through my stuff.
You got to read the terms of service.
I didn't see that in there, but I didn't. Again, I controlled F and looked for opt-in, and then that was not an option anywhere.
Yeah, that's that thing. As soon as when you click, it's like you agree to terms. You agree to pay us money for this service. Yeah, all right.
And then you want to be like, how do you fix that? You can't, because that was the only reason they have those terms of service in the first place is because somebody sued.
Yeah, I was like, it's like it's part of one of those loopholes they do now. It's like, if you agree to pay the service, all you have to do is ask, and we'll get it done. But you have to think to ask.
I'm so mad. Like the whole world just makes me mad because everything is trying to get a gimmick. Like my mother got a phone call from her insurance agent today, and like, well, I guess it was last week, but she set up an appointment and went in today, and he was trying to sell her everything under the sun, like trying to get her to refinance her mortgage so she could have enough savings to get more insurance.
What?
That's right, because she was trying to be like, oh, I'm on a fixed income, I don't really need to increase my insurance. He was trying to get her to insure the house for like $1.5 million, something like that, and I'm like, we don't need that much insurance coverage on this house to be paying in that situation. Like, it's not like you're going to get that money. It's a what if scenario.
Right.
So he's trying to get her to refinance the mortgage through them and then use that savings to purchase more. And I'm like, can't we just get the refinance on the mortgage and tell them to go screw themselves on the insurance situation? Or is it like a bundle deal? And I'm sure it's not a bundle deal, but she kept telling me about all these little sales tactics he was using, about like trying to tick off math and making multipliers and stuff work. And I was like, yeah, we're never talking to that guy ever again in our lives. And he's clearly not out for our interests. Insurance is the biggest racket on the face of the planet. Like, how is that still legal? I get health insurance and stuff, but like this personal property or whatever, I don't like. That seems like it should be something from your lender or.
I think it matters which state you're in too.
Well, I mean, I've had lender-placed insurance before, and it's way cheaper usually, but it's only covering their investment. But like, you can purchase insurance to protect your investment as a lender. You don't really need it as a buyer because you could just default on the loan, and they have insurance to do that if your house burned down. And I mean, like, to protect you against natural disasters and stuff like that, should be a government bubble on that one. Like a FEMA situation, like, oh god, a hurricane could go through, the government should help those people.
Should help those people.
Well, I mean, like, that's my whole point, is it like we've made an industry to capitalize to make profit off of the human suffering. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Capitalism has ruined the world. And like, Mom was talking about health insurance, and no, it's totally ruined the world. Because the countries that don't, like, have never had capitalism like as a fundamental core value are much happier. They have shorter work weeks, but they don't have as many things. But they're happier. That's a legitimate study. I'm gonna have to find it for you. I personally, when I got rid of all of my things, I became much happier. I don't know how, like, when I was going up to the house in Roanoke and finally cleaning out all its, like, the sentimental stuff that I just couldn't bear to throw away when I moved.
Yeah.
And when I went back to throw it all away, I had no qualms. I put it all in the trash. I would have threw a match in it and watched it burn like Angela Bassett walking away from it. Makes me so happy to know that all those little burdeny things are gone. I didn't realize how much like a pit in my stomach that was eating up my life, knowing that there was just a whole basement full of trash that I had sentimental feelings about.
Well, what was sentimental that you kept it in the first place?
Oh, like an old saxophone, Christmas trees, like Christmas ornaments that my mother had given me, or photo albums, or like collages and things. Like I had this collage of like party stuff that like every party I threw over the years, I had like a little memento from that I saved, like cards or the feather boa or like a blow up pillow or like it was a lot of like random things that people had given me over the years that had held sentimental value that I looked back at, and I obviously couldn't take it with me to Hawaii because you have very limited space when I moved to Hawaii. And then when I came back, I was just like, I haven't had these in my life for 5 years. I did not feel some kind of way about these things for 5 years. Why do I suddenly need them back in my life? Like, sure, some things I took pictures of and posted to Facebook, and there it is digitally forever. But I don't need the physical thing anymore.
Because I would think without it, with the absence of it after the time period and coming back and seeing it, would spark some emotion of attachment, especially since you stayed in the first place.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I went, oh, trash. Oh, I took a picture. Trash. It's just a thing. I learned without having things. Like at one point when I was in Hawaii, I literally had no place to live. I was homeless for like 2 days. And all I had was my car. And I was like, it's cool. I got the beach. I got a towel. I got public showers. I was like, this is the best place to be homeless ever. And then there's this like burden release.
I've heard that a lot actually.
Yeah, I mean it's never cold. And then like they have shelters and stuff for like hurricanes and things. You can go into churches and places. Like they have public shelters for that. Like you don't have to even worry about it, like school gyms and things. So I don't know. And like I often think that maybe once my duties here in Virginia are done, I might retire to be a homeless person in Hawaii. Spend my last $500 buying me a ticket to Hawaii, and I'll live in a tent on the beach in North Shore.
Oh.
Coconuts and fish all day. Actually, probably pineapples, bananas, coconuts, fish, poi.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
If I can grow weed, I can surely grow poi.
Right.
And I can't wait to see the Big Island. Can't wait. That was one of my life goals while I was out there, and I didn't have the opportunity. COVID, thanks.
The Big Island?
Yeah, because the lava flow. I really want to see the lava flow.
I thought Honolulu was on the Big Island. I thought that was the Big Island.
No, Honolulu is on Honolulu.
But isn't Honolulu the Big Island? No, well, that's not the Big Island, right?
No, the Big Island's Hilo.
Hilo.
Hilo. Hilo's the Big Island. Oahu has Honolulu on it. Yeah, Oahu has Honolulu on it. But Hilo's the Big Island. And never been, but that's the one that has the active volcano. And you have to like do like a 10-mile hike to go see it.
That'd be nice to see.
Yeah, Brittany said that there's a boat tour, so you can take the boat out and watch it hit the lava, hit the water from the boat.
Well, that'd be cool.
But I mean, we're gonna be there for a week, so that's a thing. I would like to go scuba diving as well.
Scuba.
I mean, it's gonna make me sad because I'm sure the reefs are gonna be like ridiculous, but maybe they'll be better on the Big Island, less pollution.
I'm up and down about scuba diving so much. I love swimming, but I get really nervous. Like even like snorkeling, I get a little nervous. And I actually went snorkeling last time I was on Hawaii. I was with my best friend. He was like, "I'm so surprised you did that." I was like, "Yeah, I was a little surprised at myself too." It was cool. We did the what is that national park? Like with the beach and the coral reef.
You did it on Oahu?
Yeah.
Electric Park, where the power plant puts out the water. It has like electrolyte water, and it makes the fish super active.
No, I don't think that. Well, it might be, but I don't think it. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, if we go back, I will take you snorkeling to some nice places. I thoroughly enjoy scuba diving, and I think once you like go through the training process with it, you have to like it's not as intimidating because you realize there's like safety mechanisms in place, and we're probably not going to go deep enough that you would die if you were to like oh my god.
Like, it's not even that so much. It's like it's a weird feeling for me, like when I go under, like the limited, like when you have the snorkel mask on, you have that kind of focused view.
Oh, right, your peripheral vision's gone.
The peripheral vision's gone, and the sound's gone. It's like like inhibiting some of my senses, and that's a weird feeling for me.
And you're worried about sharks.
I'm not overly worried about sharks because
I mean, it's a valid fear. But it's like a fear. It's like the same fear of being like in the woods and worrying about a wolf. You know, it's like there are wild animals in the world that will eat us.
Yeah, we had growing up in California, or not the beach, like the porpoise out there. They migrate up the coast all the time, and they're so nonchalant now. I think after all the years of those people being the beach and them being there and whatnot. So like if you're swimming out in the ocean there, and all you see is that fin, and you don't think, you know, dolphin or shark or whatever, you think, oh god, there's something big in the water and I'm gonna die. Meanwhile, the porpoise is swimming by, it's like, stop. You just, like, oh god.
Did I tell you my near miss story? One time I was snorkeling in Wahiwa. No, I'm not saying it right. It's one of those WAs and beaches in North Shore. And we used to go there all the time, and I used to snorkel like all the time, and there used to be like tons of little fish. It was a nice little cove, like protected, so the water wasn't like crazy. It was easy to snorkel in. It was just out there doing it for fun one day, and I was like, God, this is the weirdest thing. I've never seen it so dead. Like there was nobody on the beach, there was no fish in the water. I was just out there, and I was like, wow, this is really scary and eerie. Like it was very quiet and whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is not so fun. I'm getting this weird vibe, so I got out of the water.
Oh, was it like a tsunami or something?
When I got back into the car, they had sent out the shark alert. There had been a shark sighted in the bay I was swimming in.
Oh. That is wild.
And I'm literally the only one on the beach because I didn't check the alerts beforehand. There's your lesson about Hawaii. Check your shark alerts, surf warnings. Look at the signs, yo.
That makes sense, but I never heard that.
They have special signs for different kinds of things, like 'cause sometimes the jellyfish are really bad. So you have to stay out of the water because the jellyfish will kill you. The man-o-wars will kill you. And I've been like the local Hawaiians just trip me out with that because they'll be out there with like a stick and be like whack and just kill it right there in the ocean and like throw it up and like, how did you even see that?
Right?
But I was definitely in the beach one time about to get stung and the guy saved me with his stick and I was like, "Aw, you're wonderful."
You saved my life. Thank you.
I don't know I don't think it was one big enough to kill me, but it would have been ridiculous. I feel like the ones that kill you, they warn you about and like have lifeguards and stuff to prevent you from going in the water. But there's always jellyfish out there. Every once in a while, you get stung. Shit happens. You still living in paradise, though, bro.
I've never seen the jellyfish in real life.
In real life, really?
Yeah. And I know nor can I remember being in the place where they're prevalent, but I had to worry about them.
That was the thing. We used to go to Virginia Beach as a kid, and there was always jellyfish in the water in Virginia Beach.
I've heard people say that since I moved here. I've only been to Virginia Beach once since I've lived here.
It's nothing to write home about.
Yeah, it crossed my mind once, but we had a good time.
Don't get me wrong. In the summer, I'm liable to take a beach trip just because I miss the beach.
Yeah, I do love the water.
Miss the beach. So I might at one point, but there's just something about that. I think I don't really miss being in the water as much as I miss being able to put my feet in the sand. I thoroughly enjoy putting my feet in the sand.
Really?
Especially when it's like right there at the surf, and the surf just kind of washes up over it. I also enjoy getting tossed around in the surf, like right there as the wave breaks. Don't know why. It's great for your skin though, because you get like sandblasted. It's great for your skin.
Oh, there's interesting stuff.
And but you get sand in like all your crevices and all your swim shorts. And,
right. I was like, why hasn't someone thought of that as a?
It's really not, and like it's definitely not pleasant for most people. Everybody looks at me when they're like, "Wait, you let that thing just roll you around in the surf?" And I'm like, "I do. I like the waves." And people are like, "You're weird." I know. It's not the first time. I've been told I'm weird.
Always like sliding through the waves.
Oh man, like paddleboarding was fun. I love me some paddleboarding. But I never got to surf because I don't have the balance for surf. Paddleboarding, they're wider. Don't have the arm strength probably either.
Well, when I was lighter, I used to be able to boogie board pretty well.
I mean, you can probably body surf really well now.
Yeah.
I bet you got the buoyancy on your side.
Well, it's in the ocean, yeah. And a good salty ocean.
Don't be salty. It's just the ocean. Wow.
I'll tell you what. I've been a great swimmer like all my life, but I've never been able to float.
That surprises me.
It's one of those weird things. Like I just can't do it. I know how to do it. I've tried it. I've even taught people to do it, but I can really not do it myself. Like I end up just kind of swimming lightly. I say, all right, I can keep myself afloat if I just paddle every.
I think
10 seconds or so.
I think that's floating. You have to do a little bit of motion to keep yourself from flipping over. Like your body's natural stance is face down in the water.
Well, you can, if you got a good buoyancy, you can take a good deep breath and kind of breathe kind of slowly, and you can just float and sit there and just not move and relax.
I call shenanigans. And just
But
maybe if the water was perfectly still.
Well, no, even if it's not, that's the whole point. If the water's not even with the water being perfectly still, you just kind of float over the waves and that. And in Hawaii, I can float because there's so much salt in the water. I don't have a problem doing it.
I've never had a problem floating,
Yeah.
but you have to at least keep your
California,
arms active, at the wrist a little bit to keep you from flipping over. Because otherwise, if you fall unconscious in the water, you wouldn't. If your natural state was face up, you would live. But most people die when you pass out in the water because your natural body state is face down.
Right.
I mean, if you just go limp in the water, that's what happens. Blah.
Yeah.
Now you make me want to go to the beach and go limp in the water. That's what I really miss. I used to love floating in the waves, but then I get paranoid about it too. I can only stay in the water for 10-15 minutes floaty because I'm all like, there could definitely be something stalking me right now. I've been still for too long. Gotta make sure it knows I'm alive and kicking, buddy.
In Hawaii, you got better view, the water you can see a little better.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. The coast out here where it's just I can't see anything.
All right, I'm sure give Hawaii another year or two and it won't be crystal clear water either because pollution, bro. Pollution.
So sad.
Water's natural state is clear. That's why, as much as I talk about changing the vote in 2 years, is it really, if we get... I often waffle whether it's even too late. Because think about how long it's going to take to change that. Even if we go to the point of getting noticed in a campaign in 2024, it won't actually happen in 2024. And I think the government might break by then.
I'd imagine someone in power would set that shit down, which has always been the real hindrance of trying to initiate the changes.
Somebody up top is trying to cut us down, which is, why we gotta change it.
Even more so than setting it down, it's we want to keep our power. We don't want to change it. It's this is what we do, and this is how we like it.
I don't know. That's how they like it, sure, because they get to stay in power that way.
Yeah.
I mean, my other solution is to stop paying taxes. Just go to your employer and claim 10 deductions, and then when your income taxes come due at the end of the year, just don't pay them. Dare them to come take you to prison.
If you're paying extra on your work taxes, you wouldn't.
Well, that's why you have to go change your deductions. If you claim a whole bunch of deductions, 10 on your W-2 or whatever, they won't take out any taxes because you have so many exemptions that you don't need to pay taxes. So that's my other solution, because I don't want to advocate violence, which is how you really indicate change or initiate change. But that's
might get for tax evasion there, right?
Well, that's what I said. Dare them to take you to prison. They could definitely come after you. but they won't because it will cost more money than you would pay in. And what they gonna do? Put you in jail? Where then you get 3 hots and a cot every day? If you're already struggling, working 2 jobs, can't barely make it, all you ever do is work for a living, I'd rather have some leisure time, get 2 hots and a cot, some nice white-collar prison. Tax evasion is an easy one. You don't go to, like, prison for tax evasion.
That's true.
You go to, like, Club Med, but you don't get to leave. Oh, well. Although, with COVID, that might be rough, too, to get vaccinated before.
I wonder if they... never mind. Well, there might be.
What?
That's an interesting area. We'll research that. People, because you're white-collar criminals who get the nice federal prison versus your average criminal.
Well, you're a person of color, too. Be careful.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to, like, avoid taxes and see it firsthand.
Hey, that's my other solution. I have not paid taxes in many years. And they send me some stuff, and they try to garnish my wages, and then I just change jobs again.
I was like, hey,
I don't pay taxes. Actually, I do pay taxes. Like, I paid more taxes than Donald Trump. But I don't pay extra. When they tell me I owe more money, and I usually, like, when I was working, I was claiming the one that takes out more money so I'd get back a bigger refund at the end, because I seem to always owe money at the end of the year. And then I was like, I'm tired of that. They already taken 33% of my paycheck. That's enough.
Right, and then you got to pay more at the end of the year.
That's enough. I'm not gonna owe you something just because I'm a single white male. Sorry, I have no deductions or exemptions. Okay, I'm also not rich, so I'm fucked.
Right.
If I had been white and rich, that's a whole nother tax bracket for real. It's a bullshit in general. So like I say, don't pay taxes. They ain't coming after you. At most, they will garnish your wages. And if you're like me, just be transient and change jobs, because nobody gives a fuck. And it's not like jobs aren't a dime a dozen. Just every time you get... And like, when they were garnishing my wages at the security thing, it was like $2 a day, or $2 a paycheck, or something like that, because they can only take a certain percentage over minimum wage, and if you don't make that much, they can't take it. Like, it was only like I made so little at that job that they would get the, like, it would be $2 to $3. It would be a random amount because it was only what I went over a certain threshold, and I just barely went over the threshold that even the government deemed was survivor level. Like, oh, we can't take no more money from him or he won't be able to eat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's counterproductive. If they take you out of the workforce, then you really pay no taxes. And not contributing at all. You're then on the government paycheck. If all of us just decided not to pay taxes one year, hey, they'd probably get the message. That's the whole thing, as I keep trying to say with the Twitch live stream, is all we have to do is get together. We can't do rallies in person anymore because COVID. So just look at this Wednesday night stream as a political rally. We are here to change the vote. But we also have to make it entertaining to keep you guys interested in watching the content. That's the real hard part.
Change is hard.
Change is not hard. I think that's something else that the liberal media has been feeding us for years. Maybe the media in general, the change is hard, because all you have to do is actually change it. And we live in a viral society where any video can go to a point where everybody knows what the hell it is in a month. So all I have to do is really come up with some kind of like super funny, creative, witty, change the vote meme, and it would blow up.
That's true.
So that was my goal. That's my end goal with this channel, is to get people to change the vote. Unless somebody else has better options. I'm sitting here waiting for your solutions to change the world. Everybody's got a problem, but ain't nobody got solutions. I do. Change the vote. Anybody else? Feel free. Chat's available. Comments are available. Like, subscribe. I will see them and I will comment. Help me change the world. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live.
Ta-da.
I know I keep waiting for something to happen. And you're like, nope. Maybe one day.
What are you looking at? I don't know. Something incredible.
Maybe. You don't know. This could all it takes is one meme. And I need to make a 30-second. Like I tried to do that. I believe I put up a video on my channel about what
Is what it was about.
Yep. I'm trying to pull it up at the same time. I can't. Boop.
Excuse me.
I'll forgive you this time. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I have recorded it and haven't uploaded it yet? That's possible. Nobody watched our stream from last week at all.
I don't even remember last week.
Final Fantasy Fridays this week got no views. Saturday Surprise, no views.
Oh.
I mean, I haven't like
You
this
did
week.
put a
This week's
video
been
up.
rough. Oh, change the vote. There it
Yeah,
is.
you
It's got
put-
8 views.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean. Fire of Life 2018.
You might need a better thumbnail.
On Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. I've changed it up. Now we're playing the video in the background. No matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, I believe you believe we need to change some things in the way our government runs. I think the easiest solution to that will be to change the way we elect our elected officials. There is a system called single transferable vote, where your vote will count no matter who wins. I changed my facial hair since then. You rank all the candidates and all the options from however many there are, and then they set a threshold based on how many candidates and how many votes to see who didn't meet that threshold. If you voted for somebody who didn't meet the threshold, then your vote would then, like number 2 vote, would then count towards somebody who did meet that and help them meet the next threshold, because that number changes based on how many candidates and how many votes there are done. So the threshold keeps rising, and then the people keep dropping out, and then your vote keeps moving up to the next 2, and eventually you get the person that the majority of the people will at least be happy with. And I think they say that compromise is key when both people leave the table thinking they're not mad, but they're not happy either. That's the best case scenario, and it would be nice to get somebody in office who is just out for people's goodwill, not being pulled by party purse strings. So if you'd like to make that happen, Pulled by
all you
party
have to do
purse
is share this
strings.
video. Tell your friends to write in, change the vote when they go to the election polls the next time they do. All the elections, just keep doing it, change the vote. Write in, change the vote. It has to be the same thing or it won't count. It's 10% of write-in votes of the
It's still too
precinct
long.
get forwarded on. So like, if there's
First time
100
you said
votes
that.
in your precinct,
Eh,
10 people have to write in, change the vote for it to ever
Giggity.
get counted.
So the
I used to
video
work
is
the
too
election
long, you're
polls,
saying?
and
Yes.
I talked to people on the way out.
Because I'm already
A lot of
over
times
it,
they'd be
and it
like,
was
"Ah,
only
I'm
3
freaking out.
minutes.
Donald Duck,"
I think it was just 3
whatever.
minutes, right?
It was only 3 minutes, but it was still long. I need a, because you know that they say that the average person in life only has a 6-second attention span. You have to change something in the video every 6 seconds just to keep people entertained. And I'm like, sorry, changing the way we vote is going to take longer than 6 seconds to explain.
You could,
I mean, like, but I need to get some kind of
It's
meme or
crazy.
something just to make
change
people.
your camera angle goes down.
Yeah, I mean, also I need to sit here and do the editing and videoing and stuff, all that. And I'd love that, but you know, it doesn't pay my bills. I don't have time for all that. I wish I could sit here and do this 24 hours a day and really focus on getting people to change the way they vote, but I can't. So here's what we are. Every Wednesday, 9 p.m., political rally. We're getting together to talk about
Sorry.
things in the Discord. We're gonna make change. Factual.
It's this time.
Right. So if you want to join the discussion, I will put the link in. Here's the Discord. There you go. This is the YouTube channel. All the things. Also, I have a whole bunch of stuff to play around in my channel now. Like, you can gamble. I don't have any fire starters because I don't watch the channels, but, you know, sad days. Also, the emotes are fun. I love the emote chat wall. I don't know why, but I do. I find it entertaining. What were you going to say, Keith?
Good question. What was I going to say?
Was it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow?
Comment down below.
Right. We want to hear how you want to change the world. I don't want your problems. I want your solutions. I was that kind of manager when I was a retail store manager. Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions. Because I'm probably aware of the problem. My DM used to hate that when I worked for Journeys. He would come at me and be like, "Why isn't this down?" I'm like, "Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions. I saw that number in that report as well."
Wow.
But, you know, after the first couple of times, he would just start that. He'd be like, "Hey, so this was down. I need you to do this." I'm like, "Okay, square. Word. That makes sense. Gotcha." Instead of just yelling at me, he used to just give me, it would change it to direction, and I was like, "That's much better.
Right.
Don't just yell at me. That's pointless. I am aware of the problem."
I agree with that a little bit. Actually, I agree with that a lot.
And, you know, and people don't ever put it that way. Like, I feel like people are always like, I don't know. I've done a lot of jobs in my life, and I've had a lot of good bosses and a lot of bad bosses. And the bad bosses are always the ones that just yell at you.
Right.
Like, what good is that doing?
I actually had a small argument like that with my manager the other day at one of the restaurants. I had rung an 8-top, and you know the old thing where like, "Hey, if you're ringing the large party, could you split it into smaller tickets so we can read it better?" I thought I had done that, but apparently I had not. And I came and she's like, "Hey, how come?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do it today." And I was trying to run out because I was trying to do something else at this table. And then she's like, "Hey, what's wrong? Why did it?" I was like, "Nothing's wrong." I was like, "Why didn't you do it?" I was like, "I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident. It's done. I can't fix it. What do you want me to do?" I was like, "Are you going to explain to me how to separate a ticket? Because I know that. And you know I know how to do that."
I just made a mistake.
I made a mistake. Let's move on and go. I got
So sorry.
stuff to do. She
So
took
sorry.
that a little personally, and I was just like, "You're a pretty seasoned restaurant person. You know that you shouldn't be all in your feelings."
Like, especially during the middle of the rush. Talk to me about it later.
You're working in the line, and you're worried about your feelings. I was like, "I am not worried about your feelings. I am not yelling at you. I am speaking loud and clear so you can hear me over all the kitchen noise and understand what I need to say and move on." I was a little irked by that. I was just like, "You're too far gone into the restaurant genre system to like take a little mistake personally. And I certainly didn't need you to explain to me how to split a ticket."
I got a story
Nor did I have
similar
time
to
listen
that.
you. What's that?
I got a story similar to that. One time when I was working at the Olive Garden in, I guess I shouldn't say where, but this manager, his name was Mark Pazzaratti. I don't know if you ever heard of that dude. If you ever worked in restaurants in this particular town, you may remember that kind of thing. But anyway, one day I had a party, and I was the only server on, and it was like 30 people, and it was definitely against Darden standards. But you know me, I'm a pretty bomb-ass server. They knew I could take it. And so they told us to do the same thing, like to ring it in like separately. But at the time, Darden didn't have a computer system that was making that efficient. So I rang it all in one ticket and split it up by item. So like the salad ticket went like in order. I put in all the salads together, all the soups together, all the entrees together, all the desserts together, all the appetizers and stuff all together, like based on stations in the kitchen. And when I came back, like as soon as I hit send, Pazzo is screaming and yelling, throwing plates in the kitchen. "I need Char in the kitchen right now!" And I came in that kitchen. Let me tell you. I came back in that kitchen, and he started screaming at me, and I snatched that ticket out of his hand. I ripped it into pieces and handed it to the appropriate person, and then walked out of the kitchen.
That's what you do.
And he was just like, hurrah! This screaming and yelling at me the whole time, and I just coasted right on through like he wasn't even there. Did my life, did my job, and he's just more ranting and raving. Pulled me into the office afterwards, talked about how disrespectful that was, and I was like, how about disrespectful is yelling at me like I'm a child?
Yeah, I love when they pull that line. They pull it. It's later. You're like, you were a little disrespectful. I was like, disrespectful? You came at me yelling.
Mm-hmm. And you don't think we're locked in the office in the back at this point? He's talking about me being disrespectful, and I was like, like I'm a grown ass man. You want to go in the parking lot and settle this? We will settle this.
Right.
I am not the slightest bit. You remember me back in the day? I used to be rather feisty too, but I think I've mellowed out in my old age. I can't believe I'm turning 40 this year. Speaking of old age, I was just speaking of that, going through all my houses. Did you come to my 30th birthday party? I invited everybody I knew back then, and I felt like you were in my circle then. And everybody showed up. It was the biggest party I ever had. I felt like it was at my house. I had a keg and like laser lights and fog machines and music. I had a real DJ and shit.
A small part of me said I was aware of the party but didn't go.
It's probable.
I probably had to work or didn't have a ride.
And it was in a sketchy part of Roanoke. I get that. But yeah, that was a crazy ass party, and then like all that memory board. You're like, oh, I remember that party, and now you're like, damn, I'm about to be 40. Damn, Daniel.
As far as working in the same area, we didn't hang out a lot outside of work a whole lot.
I didn't hang out with anybody outside of work. Like, you went to the restaurants after work, like you hung out at B-Dubs with the people you worked with after work.
Yeah, like if I saw you, it'd be like at B-Dubs or something.
Because that's all I ever did. You'd go to work, have such a shitty night, you'd have to spend half of what you made drinking it away.
Yeah. And then you're in the bar there with all the other people in the retail restaurant service industry.
Commiserating.
Yeah. Like,
It's...
Hey, what's up, Oliver? What's up, Ina?
And you know, like, because everybody knew everybody, because that's a small community, and we all worked at the same restaurants. Like, when I opened the Longhorn, and they picked, like, the best people out of, like, the thousands of people they interviewed, they picked 100 of, like, the best servers.
I was really butthurt about that, yeah.
And the people they picked, to this day, am like, I know 80% of these people that they're like the best servers in here, and I know every one of them does drugs. This one's an alcoholic. This one has a baby mama drama that's gonna keep him out of work. This one calls out every other day. I was like, had anybody thought to ask the rest of us, we could have helped them out a great deal. Be like, you should have seen that I have worked at every restaurant in the Roanoke Valley. I obviously should have asked my opinion.
I had 4 interviews for that place and didn't get hired. I was really irked about that.
I worked for Darden at the time, so I didn't have to interview. I helped with the opening process, actually. You might have interviewed with me.
No, I don't think I did. I don't remember that for sure.
That would have been entertaining. But I helped with the opening process because I worked there.
I was there with a bunch of people because what was it? Texas Steakhouse had just closed down.
Yep.
So,
but Texas Steakhouse had so many shitty servers, Keith.
Well, yeah, but we had a lot of good servers too.
I think it was the other way around.
I had some really good interviews, and I was, and I had a good rapport because I was at Texas Steakhouse almost 10 years.
Yep. Christina Larson was the DM at that point, and she was
at Longhorn.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she got DM.
She was the district. Christina Larson.
Oh, she was a district manager.
Yeah, she's I don't know if you know her. She has a greenhouse in North Carolina now.
I might be thinking of someone else, but I know the name.
She was power lesbian looking, very glasses, short, like mannish hairdo.
I'm sure I met her.
Yeah, probably. You probably interviewed with her. But she had these weird opinions about people. I would never understand when she'd be like, I don't like this person because of this, and I'd be like, what? Why is that even a thing? Like, you're okay. She'd bring up like, and Darden has this whole formula for how you interview. Like they're supposed to write down like specific responses to certain things, and then you get a score based on what you said, and then like it's all numeric, and you're like, that is a lot of interpretation based on like the test taker's interpretation of what you said. But having worked for Darden restaurants, they're one of the better companies. They have one of my favorite ever opinion, like they have a core value is called listening to the opinions of those closest to the action. And I think I've always like based my management style, growth style, business style on that. Like you have to start at the bottom to see how it works before you can fix anything. Which is why I started working for the election system, so I could see how to fix it. But you can do that by volunteering to work for the election.
Personality test.
For what?
For the Darden, that little personality test. So there's no wrong answer, but here's 100 plus questions, and half of them are the same question reworded over and over again. I was like,
because they want to make sure you give the same answer. They have to be consistent.
I feel like it's like we're gonna give you this many questions to wear you down. So like you get to the point where like you get through half of it and it's like I'm tired of answering this thing.
Or people are just dumb and forget. Like people who lie don't remember their lies as well.
Right.
So I mean I get those. Personality tests were a good benefactor. I think I learned most of my people skills from Journeys though. Journeys was definitely the biggest recruiting place I ever worked. They used to actively force you out of the store to go recruit people. Which is probably how I met you. I definitely met a lot of like lifetime friends through that because I was forced to go speak to them. I also got a sexual harassment charge and banned from the shoe show because of that.
Oh, was that what's his name, the redhead?
I don't think it was a redhead. You talking about Patrick? I think that was Patrick.
I think so, yeah.
Patrick was my co-manager at Spencer's. The guy who filed sexual harassment charges on me was just some random sales associate that I recruited from the shoe show. Said I face humped him in. He said I face humped him in the shoe show. Like I took his head and put it into my crotch.
Okay.
That's on my record. I've lost jobs because of that. Because even though it was expunged, actually it wasn't expunged, it's still there. So it was dismissed because the kid never showed up to court. But ruined my life. I wouldn't say ruined, but it cost me several jobs. Like the teletech at home thing that I was going to start doing when I quit that security job, didn't hire me because of that. It was on because it shows up as an assault and battery charge.
Oh, terrible.
Isn't it terrible that that at-home place wouldn't hire me with an assault and battery charge? Like, I can't hurt them. I'm on the phone. I don't understand. Like, I guess they just figured like it was anger issues or whatever. But like, I interviewed with like 3 people for that teletech company, and then they got to the background check and was just like, nope. And I'm like, that A happened over 10 years ago, and B was dismissed. I even told them the story, and they were like, don't care. Help wanted, though. Did I tell you that I interviewed for Walmart, and they didn't hire me because I'm COVID-phobic?
Really?
Yeah, I was like, as long as everybody's wearing their masks and stuff, I don't care. But I will say something if somebody's wearing their mask.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want the conversation.
I'll say something, just so you know. So they didn't hire me. And I'm like...
And you would have been fighting day one.
Because I said, wear your mask? Probably to a manager or something.
Yeah.
I've been like, you need to wear your fucking mask. Thanks.
You did just the amount of problems that start. I would tell you that was the worst thing working at the ABC store. Like the whole time I spent there during COVID, working at the ABC store, that turned me off. All my like people, so all my social sides, like I killed all of it. Like I to find so many people now in public.
I just, you know,
because it's just so horrid.
that's another thing I loved about Hawaii, because when they first shut down everything in Hawaii, they like called you, like if you were registered in the thing, they called you from Walmart and was like, hey, come work. It wasn't even like interview or anything. It was like, hey, just come show up and work. We need you emergency help people to stock shelves. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So I showed up to that, and I had a face shield, I had a mask, I was like sanitizing people. I was like, I'm not gonna get sick just for this like minimum wage job. And people would come over to me like while I'm stocking the shelves and be like, hey, I got a question. And I'm like, don't speak to me without your mask. And they'd be like, they'd start going off on me, and I would just continue what the fuck I was doing. I'd be like, you need to stay 6 feet away from me. I'd move. Like, stay away, move. And he'd be like, I'm gonna find your manager. And I'm like, good luck, I ain't seen her in an hour. So I don't give a fuck. I'm not even really sure what her name is. I'm just stocking shelves, bro. That wasn't so bad. I didn't mind that. Because I really didn't give a shit. They could have fired me. I'd have been like, I'm emergency help to stock shelves. I don't know where anything is. I don't have any answers to your questions, and I am not nice.
Right. I could care less.
Right, like, I'm here to stock some shelves. I ain't here to be your friend. Karen! I feel like once I did it a few times, everybody stopped. Like they put me in pharmaceuticals, like over the vitamin section, because I've worked a million hours of retail. I can throw some shit on some shelves, and so they were like, "You finish that whole cart in a day?" And I'm like, "Yeah." When I don't talk to people, it's easy to get my shit done. If I don't have to walk away every 5 minutes to go show some asshole where something is.
Right.
And I used to be like, use your mobile app. It tells you, and you just point out the charts. Like I'd be like, that's the only thing
I've noticed how interesting that is now. Like I asked someone, hey, could you help me find this and that? They pull out their phone. Well, it looks like. I was like, wow.
Because there is literal no training in Walmart. Like I started like stocking stuff the day I started work. Not even like they showed me 2 videos. One was anti-union and one was pro-gun, and then put me on the floor.
Wow. Kind of wild.
You're expected as a Walmart employee to defend the store with the firearms in the store if it were to be assaulted.
No. You lucky I don't help the person.
I laughed my ass off when I saw that video, and I was like, how is this legal that they're showing this video? And then the other one just basically told people how unions were bad. It was a anti-union propaganda video, and I was like, how can this be a thing? But I was told basically that I had to show up to work. So I wasn't even an essential employee, but I had essential employee skills, and they made me go to work. I don't know how I feel about life anymore. I'm hiding from the government currently.
They know you're trying to change the vote.
Huh?
They know you're trying to change the vote.
Well, I mean, right? Like I told it to Mama the other day, because like it's legal to own in Virginia right now, but that's the whole situation because federally it's not. So if I were to get like famous for trying to rock the boat and change the way we vote our systems, the government very well could come in here and storm everything and take everything I own. And then just tell me that like 6 to 8 weeks I'd be given a notice where my stuff is and how to be able to retrieve it after my trial was done, I'm sure.
Right.
In 6 to 8 years, because they would just put that off because they know I'd get my shit back, so they just keep putting that off through legal stuff. There was a whole thing on Vice where that happened to this couple. Like, there was this couple in, like, I want to say Colorado somewhere that had, like, kids and a wife. Like, they had, like, other businesses that were, like, normal, reputable businesses. And then they went into a cannabis dispensary situation. And then her husband ran for office, and suddenly all their shit got taken away. Like, everything was confiscated for years. Like, they talk about all their business assets and everything. They just froze all their everything. They were suddenly just criminals because they opened a dispensary legally in Colorado.
That's terrible. Well, it's because he ran for office, more likely, right?
Right. He became noticed in a government situation and pissed off the wrong people, and they decided that they were going to that was what was gonna happen, because they could, and that scares the hell out of me. To be fair, but to make change happen, I would take a bullet. I think if somebody told me that if I were to give up my life to make this happen, I might do it. If it could magically, like Magic Genie popped up and said, "Give me your life, and I will make this happen," I might do it. It'd be worth it. Good of the many and all that.
That's a bold statement, Jack.
Good of the many. I'm one of those people. It might have to happen. If it had to happen, it had to happen. So I guess that's why I'll put my neck on the line for it. Whatevs. They come and take all my shit, I will just have to start streaming from somebody else's phone, I guess. Every Wednesday at 9, I'll be here. Come hell or high water. Every Wednesday at 9.
It's a pirate radio, pump up the volume style.
Right? Until Twitch bans me, and then I'll have to create like phantom accounts and stuff. I mean, technically, I have my own website at fireoflife2018.net. So if they ever take me down, you can check me out over there. But you know, what about that guy? You ever hear about the guy in China who was he was a Chinese reporter, and he was reporting on corruption in the government from the United States, like via YouTube, putting up like videos and stuff like that of like really inside Chinese information.
Wow.
And he got disappeared for 2 weeks. And then showed back up on camera, made like a blanket statement that he had been saying anti-things against the government. Nothing was ever true. Nothing was ever, like, everything he'd ever said was a lie. And then that was it. His YouTube channel was just done. Nothing ever posted ever again, ever after that, ever.
Wow.
But rumor has it that his mother also went missing for those 2 weeks.
That's bad.
Who was still in China.
Chinese government does stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. But you think our government doesn't?
Well, they're not as...
They haven't... Right, they haven't got caught doing it yet.
Oh, they got caught. It's, terminology has changed. You know.
Oh, right, we were extraditing a criminal.
Right.
Like, because that happened in those protests in the 2020 elections. Remember that there was one in some Midwestern state where people were... No, it was in Seattle, where people were getting black bagged. They were out protesting the Black Lives Matter movement, and there was this van that was just sneaking up behind people and black bagging them, dragging them in a van, driving them away, never be seen again.
Right.
That was literally a thing.
Man.
But, you know, they never got caught doing it. I couldn't prove that anybody who did that or what, but these people just disappeared.
Yeah.
I think they'd have a really hard time disappearing me. I'd be hard to pinpoint exactly where I am, and I'm in a very defensible location. But a drone strike would take care of it, so I shouldn't say that. I could probably just do that.
It's just like, I don't know. I think your remote location makes it easier for them to strike and nobody hear about it.
I mean, that's fair, but I have a live stream, and hopefully somebody would miss me, right? Like, you're gonna, if I just stop streaming, you guys are gonna notice, right?
Yeah, completely. What was it? What was that thing? That was back in the day where like Facebook had like the you mark yourself on the map where you were, like, hey, I'm here. Da, 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 da.
Or you can mark yourself as safe.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like just and when you made your post, you know, you made like a
geotag location.
Yeah, like a geotag or something like that, and that was kind of normal. And I remember a couple people came up and I was like, "Oh, we're never going to wonder where you are." I was like, "Well, see, if I disappear, you're going to wonder." And now you have a map to where I was beforehand.
Right.
So some of it's okay. I don't mind some of that stuff.
Right. But again, I say defensible because it would take a drone strike to probably get me out of this place. You'd have to blow it up. It would be really hard to sneak up on me here. And I own guns and ammunitions and things. I'm a country fellow. You have to have those to keep the wildlife at bay. We have bears.
Killed him a bear when he was only 3.
Right. I don't have semi-automatics because I'm not delusional enough to think that a semi-automatic would protect me from the government, but I have enough guns to protect my front door from anything less than a tank. I mean, if they roll up with a tank, that's gonna catch some eye. Somebody's gonna notice the tank rolling down Oak Ridge Drive.
That'd be interesting. I can see countries today. They have some disguised tank. It's like, hey, is that Joe over there? What's he driving? Is that a new Ford?
I mean, the guy down the street that has all the rebel flags and stuff would probably come out.
Hey, where do I get me one of those?
I don't think that's what he is. Did I mention the rebel flag part?
Yeah.
I live in rebel flag country. I think if the government tried to come take me, there would be some people around here that would give cause as well. But, you know, I don't think the government really is going to try to kill me because I just want you to change the way we vote. I'm not really trying to tell people to be corrupt and go do crazy things. I just want to elect decent people to an office for, at most, 12 years.
Decent people want to run for office.
Yeah. I've often said that we should just, like, take the best of people. Like, we need cabinet members, right? But, like, there's one for education, there's one for transportation, there's tons of cabinet member options, but that's already a field that's out in the public sector, and I bet there is awards given for just about every field in the world for a top whatever you are. Why can't that just be, like, an extra prize? You get to be a cabinet member for this term. You're the best in your field. What do you mean you don't want to be a cabinet member? I didn't ask. That's happening. Elected.
No.
You, sir, need to make changes in your field of expertise for 4 years. That's all you gotta do. It's like jury. It's like jury duty. And really, if you're an expert in your field, wouldn't you want to make changes that are good for you in your field?
Changes that you wanted.
Right. But I mean that's you would be the right person to know what to change because you know how it works. That made, like, remember how what's her face DeVoe? I can't remember her. She was the Secretary of Education that was never been a teacher.
Had never been a teacher.
Yeah, there was Nancy DeVoe, I think was her name. She became the Secretary of Education, and that was a whole big blowout. Was she had never had any kind of, like, formal educator training. Like, she never had any background or any of that sort, and they were all like, it doesn't matter, she's just here to run a business sort. And they're like, schools are not a business, but, you know.
Yeah.
It makes.
I feel that's kind of a thing that happens in, like, every aspect, even jobs. Like, I remember working at a hotel once, and I was working at they had a very small hotel bar and a little small, like, restaurant eating area. So I was working both spots myself, and decided to bring someone in to help me do, like, management for the cast and stuff like that. And this person had never done any kind of restaurant work. Like, they'd been a manager, like, at a retail shop or something. I was like, you're a nice enough person, but you're just hindering what I'm trying to do here, you know. Like,
you can't manage something you don't know how to do.
Yeah, and it was basic stuff. Like, he'd come up to me and say, like, you know, this guest would like a martini. And I was like, you don't know what a martini is? How old are you?
But there's a lot of people who don't drink also, and martinis.
Well, yeah, I know.
I feel like,
I mean,
if I was not a bartender and somebody asked me to make a martini, I would get a bartender to do it because people who order martinis are fickle.
Right, but it wasn't like she had to make it. She came up to me to have me make it. I was like, but she said it in that way of, like, you wanted a martini? I was like, you don't know what a martini is.
Oh.
A cocktail. I was like,
has never heard the word martini?
Exactly. I was like, you're at least my age or older in management. I was like, even if you don't drink, like, you know, you should have some kind of.
You've seen a movie. What about James Bond?
Yeah, I mean... you've seen a movie or a TV show.
Right, that's okay. Maybe she's just sheltered, but also just could be dumb. Yeah. In the state of the world we're in, they're taking warm bodies to do anything now.
But that was kind of thing, and then I got like the reports like, she says you're really short with her. I was like, he is pissing me off. I mean, he's nice enough, but if I have to go back to the customer and retake the order. That's a hindrance.
But they're desperate for people there, right?
Right. Or
Taking
whatever.
anybody they can get. I mean, now's the time to change fields. If you're out there and you don't like what you do for a living, now's the time to change. Because literally everyone is hiring for everything. Just don't say you're COVID phobic, and don't tell them you are just getting a job. Pretend like you're really invested and going to spend the rest of your life there. It's the only way it works. Oh my god, I love this. The company, the foundation, it's so amazing. I can't wait to work here at a minimum wage job for the rest of my life. I just can't wait. I can't believe how many times I actually fed into that line. Oh dear. The first time I ever worked in a restaurant, so my restaurant experience started at the Olive Garden, and I went from call center to restaurant. And on a whim, I had just gotten really, really sick. I used to work for Dish Network taking technical support phone calls, and they are the worst. Because people who are calling you are complaining about their TV, and I just wanted to be like, first world problems. Your reception's not perfect. I mean, you live on a plantation in Montana. You should be happy you have TV at all. But you can't say that to people.
Right.
And so I worked there for years. And I, at one point, walked up to... they put me on an escalated call support split, where the only time I ever talked to anyone, they had already spoke to 3 or 4 other agents before they got escalated to me. And it just got to the point where I never spoke to anyone who was pleasant. I just listened to people scream at me for 8 to 12 hours a day, because they used to make us do mandatory overtime. And I was like, let me look at this. I was one morning I woke up and looked at a bottle of pills and a car keys, which one should I take today? And I was like, I think it's time for a new job. And I, on a whim, decided to just pick something out of the newspaper and went and interviewed at the Olive Garden. And then I have a funny story about my interview at the Olive Garden, but I'm not even really sure it's true anymore. You know how they say that you retell a story so many times that it's changed, even in your own mind? So I'm a little fuzzy. I'm a little fuzzy about this one, but I think I was at the park, the club, with the person who interviewed me the day before. So when I showed up to the interview, I was like, "Oh my God, Michelle! Didn't I just motorboat you last night at the bar?" And she's like, "You did, and you're here for an interview today? You're totally hired."
The fact that you were able to come in after last night, all bright and perky, yeah, let's do it.
I literally rolled in like a superstar. Back in my 20s, I used to be able to drink like a nothing else and just continue on the next day. Like, hey, I'm here, what up?
Yeah, I remember those. I had good days like that myself.
But that was very early on in my life. Because when I first moved out of that, my first ever real professional job was a hotel in South Carolina that I never actually made it to, because they made me train in a hotel in Christiansburg. And I got fired before I completed the training.
Oh my God.
For, and get this, spilling a Frappuccino on a guest luggage. That's the reason that was the reason I got fired. And
yeah, that's the one that's yeah, you're gonna have to go.
I don't know if that was really, I thought it was kind of, but so they hired me to replace this dude that was not doing well in his position in the hotel in South Carolina. And apparently, when he found out that he got, somebody had been hired for his replacement, he got his life together, and then they couldn't fire him. So then they had this extra person they just had to get rid of.
Right.
That's how I feel like that was. But then I was trapped in Christiansburg, unemployed. So the only thing that's in Christiansburg to do is work at Dish Network.
Yeah.
But, I met some really lifelong friends there, for sure. I say that, and I'm not friends with them anymore, because they don't talk to me. And then we had a big falling out. Like we had 5 years of good times, and then it was too much, I guess.
I'll go sometime.
Yep, people grow apart. And when you live on the other side of the world for a long time, that doesn't help either. But oh well, que sera, que sera. This has been like, this is your life, Fire of Life 2018. I can't believe I've been sitting here for 2 hours just talking.
I remember.
What'd you say?
I said, I remember
What do you remember?
sitting here for 2 hours talking to you.
Oh, did it feel like 2 hours to you?
No.
Good, good. I would like to do something with this hour block. I mean, as much as I like talking about the single transferable voting system, it's not really worth 4 hours. Like, I could do it for the first 10 minutes and then maybe just play the clips. I've been thinking about doing it as I stream, just replaying this video for people. Every time I take a transition or something, this is my new transition screen. Will be this video.
3 minutes.
Well, that's why I need to shorten it down. And I need to make a transitional video that's just like, hey, if you like single transferable voting, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, follow, and see you on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. into my transition. Something super quick that will remind people to like, subscribe, and follow, and also further my agenda of changing the way we elect our elected officials.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, but is it? I've been so unmotivated to get anything done lately. It's been too cold.
Yeah, that was like, I was saying, it's the winter.
It's been too cold. And I hate that. Like, I get seasonal depression real bad. That's why I moved to Hawaii. I miss Hawaii. God, I miss Hawaii. September.
September. So it's definitely September. Do you have a definite date yet?
I'm aiming for the last week in September. Like,
yeah, but
the 25th through the 30th.
Actual week, or do you want to do like, because the week ends like on a Wednesday or Thursday, or the month ends on a Wednesday or Thursday. Or do you want to do that?
I'm looking at the 25th through October 1st.
Okay.
That week, from Sunday to Saturday.
Oh. I was still down to go to Vegas, too.
Yeah, I thought about Vegas, and Vegas is on my bucket list, but with COVID the way it is, I don't know if I really want to spend time in places, and that's all that that's all that Vegas is, time in places. Where Hawaii, it's mostly going to be outdoor. And isolated, like it's on an island, far away from everybody. Like the only thing, like, if we all get COVID the week, like flying to the place, I'll be mad. But hopefully everybody's gonna be vaccinated and stuff before.
Be a little more under control, or a flight gets canceled because of COVID, or we run into a Karen who doesn't want to wear a mask on her plane.
I don't know if I'm probably gonna be way drunk through most of the trips. So I mean, if there's somebody on my plane that needs to be told something about something, I will. I'll be the one that's like, oh, Sean didn't make it to Hawaii because he got arrested. I don't think I'm gonna get arrested for that. It's probably assault and battery, more like that. That is more my style.
You gotta hashtag it every time you get in trouble.
It's gonna get me in trouble one day. I'm pretty mouthy. It's a lifestyle choice, but what you gonna do?
Yeah.
I am Julia Sugarbaker.
Oh, nice reference.
She's my hero. Like, she's my hero. I'm talking about I want to call this a podcast, but it isn't. I'm talking about my live stream. Because I've met some people on Tinder that I'm talking to that I feel like should just join me in the stream. That'd be nice.
What exactly is Tinder?
Tinder? Tinder's the one you swipe left, swipe right on.
Okay.
It's just an app.
But it's supposed to be a dating app, right?
Yes.
Oh.
And Twitter's getting on my nerves.
I've never used Twitter.
I didn't have to until streaming situation. But apparently I auto tweet when I go live.
Right.
So that's a thing.
Oh my god.
I know I've suddenly got the hiccups too. I wonder if that's weird. That's weird. That we both suddenly have the hiccups. Oh me. Well, I think I'm out of things to talk about. Keith, do you have anything you want to talk about?
I haven't done anything important to talk about recently.
I mean, because we did start this with talking about that you'd like to give you a little 5 minutes of fame. You can plug whatever you want. Do you even have social media that you have people that you want to follow, or?
No, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't played any games on Twitch. I've been all, what do you call it?
Because he does have a Twitch and he does stream, so you can follow him too. It's Batcoaster.
Batcoaster with TV thing.
Is it just Batcoaster? You don't have any numbers or anything?
Nope.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's
easy to remember. I wish I'd gotten Batcoaster. I feel like Fire of Life 2018. I thought Fire of Life would certainly be not a thing, but no, I have to be 2018. So that's why I was like, damn, Batcoaster on lock.
Yeah.
We had share stream for a minute, but
I think about doing some retro games on there.
You really need to get a computer. You can play so many games on computer. PlayStation, you're kind of limited. I was gonna say you could play Star Sector because I don't know why I'm so addicted to Star Sector, but I am. And I've played it multiple times. You don't play it with anybody? I put a whole bunch of mods on it this time, and I'm all like, oh, it's different, but it's not. It's something about exploring. It's like exploring the whole universe. And it's like Brandon. Brandon's been doing the mod thing on Elder Scrolls, and I got the Elder Scrolls Online VR situation and tried to play that. Maybe nauseous, but it was the same story and stuff.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
After about an hour of playing it, I thought I was gonna throw up. Just the way the world moves, it makes I can play Beat Saber. Like I play Beat Saber like nobody's business on some VR, which is so much fun. But the game, I really want an MMO. But now that I've played the Elder Scrolls situation, until they work out the movement option, have you seen the omnidirectional treadmills? It's like a little stand that has a pad on the bottom, and they put little things on your feet so you can physically walk.
Yeah.
Until they get those things set up and good to go, I think we're gonna have problems with getting into the metaverse, so it were. I mean, I'm excited for the metaverse. You know what they said that they've modeled the metaverse off of?
What?
Ready Player One.
I was gonna say Ready Player One.
Right. They're trying to make the Oasis as the meta.
Right.
So, I hope that works. I mean, as much as you look at the dystopian future where everybody's escaping into VR because the world's gotten to shit. Where are we right now? I mean, we are not able to see each other face to face anymore. Coronavirus is a real and present danger to literally everyone, because even people getting booster shots and stuff still have coronavirus at this point.
Right.
So
terrible. Oh my god. I picked my brain. How do you say it? I didn't read too much of it. I watched some videos too, but what is it? My brain just went all over the place. I don't even know how to articulate what I'm thinking. Okay, what were we talking about?
Coronavirus. And how it's a real and present danger. People getting vaccinated and boosted and still getting it.
Oh, here, there we go. I can loop Final Fantasy into this. So this is a spoiler for anyone watching Final Fantasy and hasn't finished Endwalker. So you know how our character Medion, she goes out and finds out that everyone in the universe is dead.
Despair. Yes, she is despair incarnate.
Yeah, despair. But like everyone, all the life that was,
He's dead.
either was dead from either natural disaster, mass extinction, some point it's just like we're done. So there's that theory. I want to say it's Fermi theory. Uh, it's that theory that the reason we haven't in real life haven't found life, extraterrestrial life, is because everyone's dead.
The great limiter.
Yeah, those the filters like that.
Yep, I've heard that theory before.
So yeah, I was talking to someone about that. I was like, what if COVID's a great filter? We haven't had ours yet.
I mean, I don't know if that's really. I don't like COVID's not going to kill everybody.
No, it's not.
So I mean, we can freely admit that COVID's not going to kill everybody.
It's a combination of so not from killing everybody, but like it's the planet reacting to us.
Well, but I mean, the great limiters have to be catastrophic. I think social media is our great limiter.
That's how I got into thinking about it. It was George Carlin, if you remember the comedian. He had a great spiel about the Earth, like, because man's only been around for X amount of years, and Earth's been around literally like 4 or 5 times as much as man, and the Earth will take care of itself. Like,
right?
It'll pump out a disease or something.
Right.
He was like, people always want to save the world. I'm like, the world is fine, and it will always continue to be fine, and will react to us and get better.
Have you ever seen the meme where it's like it's a close up of Mars and Earth as like cartoon planets, and Earth is all like brown and gross looking, and Mars is looking at it like, ew, you've got humans. They have a special comb for that.
That's funny.
And that's 100% how we are, because the planet will be fine. Like, if the planet turns into Mars, like, I often say that global warming is indicative of the planet using its own bio defenses. Like, if you look at life on this planet, when it gets sick, right, like when it gets sick, it raises the temperature, so the planet's doing just that, and it will eventually burn us off if it gets hot enough. And it's not even that far, like 2 more degrees on the ocean, and there will be catastrophic ocean death.
Right.
So, I don't know if you talk about the great limiter, I feel like social media could be. I feel like the climate definitely is. And all of these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
My thought is that it's mostly layered.
Well, we're also getting into space exploration at the same time, and many people say that that's the antithesis to the great limiter, because once you have expanded beyond your solar system, the great limiter no longer applies because you've already expanded past your home world. So there's a book series called The Expeditionary Force. If you haven't read it, it's amazing. The premise is there is an elder AI that is from one of the other parts of the universe that just we don't know anything about yet, like a different galaxy or whatever, and it basically is discovered by humans that got abducted. So there was this military group of people that are out on an exercise, and aliens flew in, abducted the whole group of army personnel, and they are in this random space scenario, like spaceship, whatever, and they somehow manage to escape and take over the ship, and then they find this hidden AI thing that was forbidden from its precursors or creators or whatever to speak to any other spacefaring species. So the species that had the AI sitting on its shelf just thought it was a beer can, but it could speak to us because we were not spacefaring. So it got us to take it off of the alien ship, and then it helped helped Earth get into space. But that didn't solve the problem of the fact that there are already races in the universe that are eons old. Like they have technology
Right.
beyond anything we could ever have, or they already just it's basically becomes like a tech level war as far as like the species in the universe or whatever. And we're just now showing up in like, hey, we have one ship. So they're like, ha ha ha, ha, we don't give a fuck about you. But then we start making trouble because of their elder wormhole, and they come to like fight us. But the whole reason I brought this up was because the elder AI points out that we are humans and we only exist on this one planet, and our sun could go supernova at any time. Just like a natural
Right.
phenomenon could erase this planet. So the fact that we're on the only planet is dumb. So it's the first thing you have to do is start expanding your race to other populations. And he's also like, your whole planet is overcrowded. Like that's also the other solution here is to start getting these people off the planet, stop using the resources that way. And that makes point. So I mean, if we start space colonizing, then our climate problem will probably dissipate as well, because we'll stop using so many resources on this planet.
Right.
And we'll probably be able to, like, because Bill Gates has got a plan to introduce some kind of mineral or powder or something into the atmospheric level that apparently ignites and neutralizes carbon.
What?
That's a thing that Bill Gates is trying to do to fix our atmosphere. But it sounds to me like he's going to end up igniting the atmosphere. And
That's why I said that's like something's gonna like burn off the atmosphere, and then we won't have any protection from
we won't have any air.
sun
Like-
rays.
We will become a barren planet because the atmosphere is the only thing that keeps in
Right.
breathable air. So, right, if he, so I don't know if we have the power to stop Bill Gates from trying that if he wants to, though. I mean,
Somebody does.
do we though?
Elon Musk probably does.
By what? Causing like is Space Force gonna go up and take care of Bill Gates trying to fix
Yeah.
the plant? Oh God. I don't know, man. I worry. I am worried on so many levels that there's just not enough weed in the planet right now. Because Mama went to store today and there was no sugar.
The
And I mean-
amount of stuff that is like hard to get that you take for granted is ridiculous sometimes.
Well, I mean, in like base ingredients, I'm a minimalist. I don't buy a whole lot of things. I make my own bread. I make my own cookies. I do buy Skittles. I'm notorious
Right.
for buying Skittles. But you know, I need sugar. Like you need base ingredients of things to be able to continue
Right.
existing. And I'm like, that's gonna be pretty rough if I can't make sugar. Everything else I can grow. I can make. I already have. Can't make sugar. I'll miss that. I'll miss sugar. When the apocalypse comes, I'll miss it.
Become one of those weird things like, we used to pay gold, but now we pay sugar.
Say what?
So we used to pay gold, but now we pay sugar.
All right. Like you can't eat gold. That's what I've often said about people like hoarding gold. I'm like, when the apocalypse gets real, the fact that I can grow food will make me a king among the thieves.
Right?
I'm even growing hemp right now, which can make clothing and rope.
Dave's not here, man.
Say what?
I said, Dave's not here, man.
Oh,
I thought you would get that one pretty good.
for the Cheech and Chong reference, right?
Also the Futurama reference. It was
But that's they're
This is
referencing the Cheech and Chong though in Futurama.
yeah, but I mean, like, this is right up your alley because it's the episode where they're taking pride to vote, and when they go to see all the political parties, there's a hemp party, and Amy's asking all these questions. It's like, I heard if you do this with half of that, and the guy's just like, Dave's not here, man.
It's a good one. Futurama has so many parallels in life. So did The Simpsons. Like, I think the adult animated humor in our life has really been telling the true story of life.
Well, that's how our society is. Comedians can tell the truth, and everybody laughs. Politicians tell ridiculous things, and everyone takes those serious.
Because that's the politician's trick. They might as well be magicians. They're the art of distraction. You ask them a question about climate change, and they suddenly talk about tax reform.
Yeah.
What?
I think 9/11.
Right, that's Lois Griffin. Remember that from Peter Griffin? 9/11.
Well,
Oh Jesus, where are we going? So what are your apocalypse plans, Keith? Like, what are you gonna do when you go home and there's no power or water?
I mean, I don't know. I'll probably eat whatever I have left, put on a hoodie, and sit down and watch the sun explode.
That's what you think's gonna happen? I feel like the Civil War is most likely to be our next biggest life-altering event.
I always had thoughts about like a civil war because like, you'll have like those riots and stuff, but then there's half the people like, I ain't getting up for you, or what if I don't believe in what they're saying, but I sure ain't leaving my house to do no stuff. That's too much effort on my part. I feel like half the country, or like half of the country that would rise up in arms wouldn't do so unless immediately threatened themselves. It's like, oh, like we're in Virginia. I was like, I hear they're fighting up in the Capitol. I was like, that's a damn shame. I'm not going up there.
Maybe. I think I know enough people that went up to the Trump rallies and, like, even the insurrection. There was how many people were in that? There was so many people, and they were from my local area. I feel like the red side of this fight definitely has plenty of people who would go up in arms over something stupid like election fraud.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough. See, I don't know. It depends on what. It really depends on what it ignites. What starts the because
like
you have one group.
The Archduke Ferdinand's assassination. That's so. What's going to happen? Here's how the Civil War gets ignited. Is Trump runs for office in 2024. The election votes are so close that it's down to like 100 votes one way or the other. So there's massive amounts of recounts being demanded everywhere in all the states. The election's just totally overwhelmed. Nobody calls anything for like a week. We don't even know who the election is when January 5th rolls through, or who's supposed to be taking charge, because they're still recounting, still doing votes.
Right.
And somebody shoots Biden. Because he's obviously, like, whatever happens to him, if they haven't elected a new one, he'll continue on until they announce someone. But somebody's going to shoot Biden, and that will ignite said civil war. That's my prediction. I don't know. We make predictions in video games. Did I just predict the apocalypse?
But that would just put the vice president in charge. And I think that would be. I would think some people would hate that more than seeing Biden.
Well, but she's going to be the Democratic nominee. Kamala Harris is going to be the one that's being debated whether she's going to be in office or not. But somebody's going to shoot Biden because they're stupid. Like, it's going to be some random redneck from Kalamazoo that just got it in his craw to make this happen, and it's just going to ignite waves of destruction everywhere, like rioting in capitals because the election results still haven't happened. I mean, like, then it's like, who do you start supporting? Like, if you get to the point of, like, we don't know who's picked because the election was so close, and there's voter fraud in Georgia, Florida, Maine, New York, California. There's lawsuits pending in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. You're like, what do we do? Like, our whole government will collapse. There's not a provision in there for an election that's so close. I foresee the political demise. If Trump gets the Republican nomination, I'm gonna start immediately putting up my fence. Just be aware, because that's gonna be the beginning of the end. Because that goes back into the Hitler parallel. Goes way back into the Hitler parallel, where Hitler tried to run for office, lost it, caused election fraud, went to jail, then came back out after writing a book, got elected, and then became chancellor. And that started his whole rise to power of the fascism dictatorship. Germany was a democracy before Hitler. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of parallels, and the two-party system has been the downfall of 3 democracies throughout history. But, you know, those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Nobody knows that but me, apparently.
Yeah.
Even though it's a fact, you can look it up on the internet. I mean, just go Google right now which 3 democracies were lost due to the two-party system. Actually, that's probably a leading question. That you'll always find the results when you lead a question in Google. Which I think is a lot of people, when they're talking about, don't use Google as a search engine. I'm like, Google's the best search engine there is out there. You just have to notice that the first, like, 3 things say ad, so they're not actual relevant. Just scroll past those.
Right.
And then, like, make sure you
read what you look up.
Right. Make sure you write the appropriate phrase words. Like, you don't have to even, like, put a whole sentence. It just uses words to search by. So just put in the words you want to get from it. But if you write in, like, a question, they're going to look for that specific question. And if that's in an article, it's probably already targeted that direction. Maybe I should make a video on how to recognize fake news.
That might be good.
Like, your first sign is if there's more ads than news. It's probably fake. One of your signs is if the web address is a .net, probably even a .com. You want to get real news from .org or .gov sites. Because .gov sites are official government sites, and .org sites are organizations, which don't take that as a thing. But most time, once you get to an organizational level, you probably have some kind of clout in your field. But still take that with a grain of salt. But .gov sites are usually pretty, like, official. But then you get into the whole, like, do you trust the government? It depends on who's running it at the moment. Which is so sad, ain't it? I miss the days when we could trust the media, too.
Well, there's so many of them.
Remember Walter Cronkite? That was a face you could look into and know that he would... Huh?
That you felt safe listening to his voice.
Right? And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And you really felt like he cared. Or, like, remember the show Murphy Brown?
Yeah.
They had integrity. That was the whole thing about journalistic integrity. That whole show was about that.
You don't have that anymore because you don't really need it. It went from journalistic integrity to, like, ratings.
Yeah, because you can say anything on TV to get a rating. That's typically what you have to do to get people to watch your stuff. You have to say sensationalized things or put up thumbnails that are like clickbait.
Right.
And, like, I feel bad when, like, my mom's going through Facebook and she's like, I watched this video for like 5 minutes. They said they were going to show me how to make this orange be frozen on the inside. And I'm like, it's spam. Like, why do you even want to do that? You wouldn't do it if they told you the trick anyway. Like, if it's some magic thing to make a frozen... Why do you want a frozen orange? But she watches the thing for 5 minutes and they never even tell her how to freeze the orange. They just keep talking about, like, oh, I gotta turn this, gotta do this with this thing. You ever seen those videos on Facebook?
I've seen stuff like that, yeah.
Those are those clickbaits where they're just trying to get you to watch because you get paid on YouTube by the minute that people watch.
Right.
And I'm like, that's where we are in entertainment today. But that's the whole thing with the internet. Like, we walk around our phones and we have the power to look up anything we want to know, and we use it to watch cat memes. Like, by and large, that's the majority of things that are done on cell phones these days, is look up cat memes. Yeah. And really, what am I going to do about it? I mean, there has to be some people to work the stupid people jobs. Just saying. I don't know if it's stupid people jobs. Jobs that don't require intellectual elite to do. Maybe I should call them normal people jobs.
Yeah.
Like, if you can go and run a machine at a factory for 8 hours, where you just kind of have to sit there and look at it, do a thing, and then occasionally wipe something off or press a button, That's a normal people job. You don't have to be like no more than high school education is required for a job like that. But we need to make it more acceptable that you can stay in a job like that and have lived a happy, productive life.
Make a living.
Right. They need to be treated as jobs that are essential. Because we literally made a list of essential employees, and they were all the ones that were making minimum wage, and that seems a little dumb to me. Why does the 99% simply rise up and eat the 1%? I'm sure they have enough fat on them. Make a juicy burger. That was kind of gross. That went too far. Went too far. The 1% burger went too far.
Over the law.
See, that kind of stuff would get me arrested. I didn't really mean that. Just kidding. We advocate non-violent resistance in this forum. It's really hard to drag a limp body. Cut your hair first. Don't let it be long enough. People get a handful. Protesting 101. Shave your head. Oh, me. Alright, Keith. I think it might be time to end the stream since I've obviously lost my damn mind. It's been a good 2.5 hours. I would like to thank Silver Mag for being here. I would like to thank everybody else who popped in to talk about single transferable voting. We're going to be here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, trying to make some change, trying to change the difference, trying to change the world. But I can't do it without you, and I need you to like, subscribe, follow, and better yet, show up for these on Wednesday at 9. We're in the Discord. It's in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Keith, you want to say anything?
Bye.
Bye.